millions of dollars. And you can see the data, and we are presented with the numbers that says, no, I'm not wandering out suggesting that we should randomly raise electric rates. I'm suggesting that we should do a sensible business model that says, look at your expenses, look at your revenues, look at the trends in them, and adjust your rates to make sure that you're holding the ship steady on course. It's very easy to see what steady on course is. It's that black line. And it's very easy to see what the policy that is in front of us to vote on is doing. It's dropping further below that. Built into that, in our discussions, we know that we have to raise the rates. We've accepted that. We just don't want to do it now. We're going to do that in the future. Except the information says you already know that you're off course. I was driving today on Chrome Avenue, which is a one-lane, two-lane road. And I had to do something with my hands. Don't tell anybody, but I had to do something with my hands. So I used my knee on it, which means you don't have as much control of the steering wheel. And what you realize on that is that we're always directing that boat or that car all the time to keep it on course. That's what this tool provides us, is the feedback. Are you on course? Are you not? It very clearly says you're not, and you're going to have to fix that. The decision, the political decision here is, when do you do it? Do you do it now, when you know that it's off course, or do you push it, as my fellow commissioner says, do you kick the can down the road? This is a much bigger can than anything at the beach. I'm not going to vote for kicking the can down the road.
First of all, just a second, I want a brief comment. First of all, when you talk about the consensus on what to do with the beach, the term consensus was used, but I made it very clear that I was not going along. And I think the mayor also said she was not going along. So you can call that consensus whatever you want to call it, but there was not unanimous consensus.
I didn't say unanimous.
Well, no, you didn't, but don't imply that we're all on board with that. Okay, I made it very clear that I did not support the proposal. Madam Mayor?
Jack, is the business model bad?
In my opinion, no, ma'am.
Okay, that's number one. Okay, so we have, let's all look at this now, like, not like Congress, okay? Please, not like Congress. Based on what I heard, the people who made a motion, let's see, Commissioner Amoroso made a motion, I passed the gavel and I seconded the motion for the budget, because we know we have to pass the budget. Now, obviously, you don't like it because you want the electric rates to rise. You don't like it because of the beach area. Commissioner Meyer, I haven't heard from you, so I don't know what you think, but I know you didn't feel strong enough to support anything for a motion or a second, or at least not strong enough for the budget. So I'm assuming we have a budget that we have to pass. So again, I'm not in control here because he's got the gavel, because I've seconded the motion. The budget has to be, we have to supply the budget. If we want to make changes, tweaks along the way. Remember, that's why we have the budget. We have the conversations ahead of time, so that in the end, we can come to an easy solution, because we've discussed everything ad nauseum, as the Vice Mayor likes to say. We discussed over and over again, hammered it all out, stated our opinions, stood on our soapboxes, did everything that we needed to do, yelled, screamed, swung from the chandeliers, and here we are at the final day where we have to have this thing approved. Okay, now we're coming to, this happens every year, we come to this point where we all have to stand back up on our soapboxes again and do whatever it is that we have to do to say, when it could have been talked about, addressed a lot earlier, not on a deadline situation where we have to approve a budget. So, with that said, you want to be Congress? Be Congress. That set a great example for the rest of the country, and everyone was so pleased about that. So, Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Jack?
Yes, sir.
You did illustrate, you spoke to Commissioner McBoy's concern about the reserves, a 2 to 3 months or 4-month reserve, and you indicated that going forward, we will meet that 3-month
Yes, we will.
reserve. Is that?
That's true.
Okay, so we're on path to do just exactly what Commissioner McBoy is asking us to do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mayor?
I just had one more question too. I did a little research on the beach fund when we were talking about paying back, and that's when we were talking last time. There was a motion and a second that was approved, City Manager? It was a motion and a second that was approved by a former commission, Commissioner Jennings and Mulvihill, I do believe, that required the loan that we loaned to ourselves, that required the loan to be switched to a traditional loan.
Yep.
Is that?
Yeah, I believe, going back in the record.
So when did that get changed? I want to know when that, it was supposed to be changed, we were we were doing it by ourselves and then we were gonna switch it right away or a 2-year period to a conventional loan. And that was voted on unanimously, I believe.
To go out for a loan.
Go out for a loan.
And I think later when it came to actually, I remember Steve Carr actually brought the concept forward on it would be cheaper or more prudent if we borrowed it from ourselves and paid it back. I don't know the year on that.
Okay, but but it was voted on, so why wasn't that required to happen? I'm just wondering if we had loaned it to her, if we had changed to a traditional loan, would we be able to be this flexible on the payment back to it?
No.
Well, no.
And that was required by the former commission that voted for that, to change it to a traditional loan. So I just wanted to,
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have 2 more members of the body here. Would either one of you like to speak to the issue? Go ahead.
Again, we have to approve a budget. It's concerning to me that one of the longest sitting, I didn't say the longest, I said one of the longest sitting commissioners is confused about the budget and an $8 million line item at the last minute. But moving on, also, we had a consensus. We didn't all agree, but we had a consensus that we were moving forward with the budget. Tonight, we are not moving forward with the budget. So again, last minute, not moving forward with the budget. I agree with Peggy Fisher, you know, this is crazy. You know, you had plenty of time to educate yourself, research, ask questions, figure out what an $8 million line item is instead of putting staff at the last minute. And, you know, it's totally, you know, understandable to me. And again, I haven't been here quite as long as you.
Thank you. Commissioner?
Yes, Commissioner Maxwell had mentioned that he would not approve the budget due to the increase in parking for the beach fund. When we did discuss the beach fund, we had Larry Johnson from the water utility come up here and explain multiple times that whether the loan was paid back in 9 years, 10 years, 12 years, or 14 years, it would barely make any noticeable difference in water rates. In fact, at the longest length of time to pay that loan back, residents would see an average of about an 80-cent increase on their monthly water bill. So again, the raise and the increase in parking at the beach fund will barely affect water rates, no matter what the rate of return. I did have a question on the beach fund. Do we have a debt payment from, and you did say this before, Narahu, we have a debt payment that is going to the capital projects fund, correct? Did we originally borrow from the capital projects fund on the beach? And is this the regular rate of repayment?
It's $494,700.
That is the payment that we make every year that we...
That is the amount that we borrow from the capital project.
What is the yearly payment?
And based on the revised 14 years, we're looking at $35,336 per year.
And is that the payment that we will be making this year?
That is the payment.
The same payment, okay. I felt like when everyone here says we had consensus on the beach fund. We were discussing one fund specifically. We exhausted every possible opportunity in that fund, and we had consensus on the beach fund. There are other funds that it seems that we barely discussed or didn't discuss at all. Public Works being one of those, leisure services except for the beach. So I understand why there would still be questions with certain funds. I would have to agree with Commissioner McVoy that, you know, how are you supposed to make any kind of decision? I watched that same model. We sat here, it appeared that the electric fund was in a ridiculously bad condition, and the only way to rectify it was to start raising electric rates immediately. We came back the following budget workshop session, and the model changed completely. What are we supposed to say about that? We have limited time to prepare for these meetings anyway, and then by the time you get here, the information is different than it was the last time you were looking at it. So I share Commissioner McVoy's concerns, particularly with the electric fund. I mean, it just doesn't feel right. At least with the beach, the numbers were solid once we finally had them. But I mean, Naraku, I'm just going to be honest with you. I was looking for a very clear answer to Commissioner McVoy's questions about $8 million, and I didn't hear anything that sounded clear or that many people would find very clear. I still feel very uncomfortable about that answer. So I'm sorry that we are in this position, but I understand Commissioner McVoy's concerns. Thank you.
Call the motion.
Commissioner McVoy,
I call the
Can
motion.
we,
gotta get a vote on that.
could we bring up
Gotta get a
that
vote on
graph
what?
again, please?
Call the vote.
Call the vote, he called it.
I called it.
Okay, if you guys want to call it.
That is not debatable.
I thought you had a, okay.
No, there's a motion and a second, a request to call the vote, it's
Right, no
not
problem.
debatable.
All right, so we have a first and a second to adopt the budget as presented by staff. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay.
All those opposed? Nay. So the motion fails 3-2.
Yes.
All right.
When you get the state attorney's office to call you, we should have passed your budget.
All righty. So anybody have an alternative motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we have a discussion about the budget where public comment is allowed. We have had many discussions, but they were all workshops and no public comment was allowed. And we have a city that has very intelligent people that like to chime in on these issues, CPAs, accountants, people that can look at these numbers and tell us what we're really seeing. And we have not yet given the public the opportunity to chime in on the budget.
Well, that's something we can discuss at another time, but we're not going to really affect the change. It's something we can consider going forward. I need a motion, an alternative motion for the item on the agenda, please. Well, do we need to take a break until everybody can go clear their heads and go back and take another crack at it?
Mr. Vice Mayor, I'm not quite sure I understand. I thought Commissioner Meyer made a motion. What I heard was to schedule something, to have further discussion.
Sure, I think
No,
that
that was
there,
a question, I wasn't sure if yours was a comment.
no, I made a motion.
Okay, all right. All right, I'll accept the motion. We have a second.
I will second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed?
Nay.
As I said, Commissioner, I think that item is worthy of further discussion. Maybe we should make the exception for the budget process specifically to have public comment. But I think that it's nice enough tonight to have that discussion or debate. We need a motion, gentlemen. We can sit here and we will sit here all night until we get one. Commissioner Amoroso?
Question, you had made a comment, maybe take a break until we clear our heads. City Attorney, can we move forward with the agenda and come back to this item? Because I know there's people sitting in the audience
Right.
looking.
You can say that you're gonna come back to this item later today. You could recess this item and then bring it back later in the agenda.
All right, City Manager, is that going to cause a problem as far as the order is concerned?
No, we've got a lot of other things here we need to resolve well.
Okay. Then we need a motion to reorder the agenda. As,
Or we can just come back to this?
You already had started that, you can just come back to this item later. So your motion is to defer this item until,
what time, Commissioner? What place on the agenda?
To the end of the agenda.
Okay, I have a motion to reorder the agenda as suggested by Commissioner Amoroso. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Next item up